Expanding pairs of brackets. Now the two methods favoured by my class were the FOIL method, which stands for the first pair in each bracket, the outer pair, the inner pair and the last pair. And some of my pupils also like the grid method, so I'll demonstrate both and then pupils can choose which they prefer. There is a third method which I'm not going to show in this video. So in question 1, using FOIL, the X and the X, they make the first pair in my brackets. So X times X gives us X squared. The outer pair are found here with this bottom little arrow, and X times plus 5 gives me plus 5X. The inner pair is found with this smaller arrow on the bottom, and that's plus 7 times X, which is plus 7X. And finally, the last pair, I do a little line on top and it connects the plus 7 and the plus 5, and the mistake a lot of people do here is they add them, because when we're expanding we are multiplying, so 7 times 5 is 35. Now you'll notice the word simplify as well in the question. So we've expanded. Now the simplifying stage is where we look at the two terms in the middle here and we combine them. So plus 5 plus 7 gives us plus 12x, and we have finished the first example. Now the grid method is a 2 by 2 grid, and what we'll do in the 2 by 2 grid is we'll put one of the brackets along the top, so x and plus 7, and the other bracket will go down the side, so we'll have x and plus 5. And then this is just a 2 by 2 multiplication grid. So the top left square would be x times x, which is x squared. Top right, x times plus 7, plus 7x. Bottom left, plus 5 times x, plus 5x. And bottom right, plus 5 times plus 7 is plus 35. Now what you'll notice is the four terms in our grid are exactly the same four terms when we expanded. The simplifying stage just involves adding and combining these two x terms, and you will end up with exactly the same answer as I had earlier. So moving on to our second question. I'll first attempt it using the FOIL method. So our first pair, the y times y. So that is going to give me y squared. The outer pair, the bottom little line there, y times minus 3 is minus 3y. The inner pair, plus 4 times y is plus 4y. And finally, the last pair is the plus 4 times minus 3. Now be careful here, 4 threes is 12, but a plus times a minus is going to give us minus 12. And when we simplify the two y terms in the middle, just be careful, if we start with minus 3 and add 4 onto it, we go above 0 and we end up at plus 1y. Now if you put the plus 1 in, that's fine, you can also leave the 1 out and just put y. Grid method, same as with number 1. I'm going to write my first bracket along the top, so y plus 4. My second bracket down the side, y minus 3. So top left, y times y, y squared. Top right, plus 4 times y, plus 4y. Bottom left is minus 3 times y, so that gives us minus 3y. And bottom right is plus 4 times minus 3, and that gives us a minus because the signs are different, and 3 4s are 12. And then when I combine these two, I will also get the plus 1y that I had when I did the final simplifying using FOIL method. Okay, so the final question. Now this initially does not look like a pair of brackets question. Sometimes pupils will make a mistake on this one and not do it as a pair of brackets, but when it says z minus 6 squared, it really means z minus 6 multiplied by another z minus 6. So it is in fact a FOIL question. So do is the first pair, so z times z is going to give me z squared. The outer pair, z times minus 6 is minus 6z. The inner pair is another minus 6z. And be careful with the last pair. Minus 6 times minus 6. A minus times a minus gives us a plus, and 6 is a 36. When I combine these middle two to simplify, that is going to give me minus 6, take away another 6, so go another 6 lower, will give us minus 12z, and then plus 36. Okay, so if I was doing this using the grid method, same as the previous two, bracket 1, z minus 6 would go along the top, bracket 2, z minus 6 down the side, and then I'd set about multiplying this out just as before, so z times z, z squared. Top right, minus 6 times z is minus 6z. Bottom left, minus 6 times z, minus 6z. And bottom right, minus 6 times minus 6, this time is plus 36. And simplifying the 2 on the diagonal will give us the minus 12z. So there's our 3 examples on expanding and simplifying a pair of easy brackets.